Another team that has just not done a whole lot, the Utah Jazz. You signed Drew Eubanks on a 2-year, $10 million contract, and you lost Chris Dunn. Congrats, I guess. It doesn't, like, nothing here like moves the needle for me, and this isn't a good roster or a good team. A lot of the stuff that we've already talked about, if anyone's watching any of these individual clips, you've heard us talk about Lauri Markkanen over and over and over and over and over again. So I think the biggest piece for Utah has yet to come. Right now, as it's sitting, it's a C because they haven't really done much of anything outside of just signing a backup center and losing Chris Dunn. So it's fine. It's whatever. The next thing is yet to come for Utah. So maybe it's one of those incomplete things. So what do you think?
I'm going to give him an incomplete, which is very, very close to being an F, because Lauri's an expiring contract. So his value is already capped. The team is not trading away 4 first-round picks for an expiring contract. And like, you can't even negotiate a deal with him until I think 6 months after the trade is completed anyway, because he's a unrestricted I don't know the rules, but I read about it earlier. Like, it's not one of those things where you can pre-negotiate the deal and then trade for him and bam, he signs. I think it's kind of like the Siakam thing last year, where you have to actually wait a certain amount of time to sign the extension. So if he walks in free agency for nothing, that's something worse than an F. That's a Z. And if you get to the trade deadline this year and then you're trading him, what's he going to be worth? Because you're only getting a couple of months out of him, and that's a pretty big piece to try to get acclimated to your team at that point in the season. So I think the trade has to happen now, because why the hell is he signing an extension with the Jazz? I think that's an absolute zero chance he signs an extension there. So he has to be moved, I think, at this point. So Danny Ainge has got to stop being Danny Ainge for 10 seconds here and make the move. Otherwise, I don't know what the hell the Jazz are doing. They're teetering on like basketball purgatory. I told you earlier that Detroit was basketball hell, but at least they got Cade. At least they got something to watch. The Utah Jazz, I don't know. We're turning on the TV every night to watch Jordan Clarkson and John Collins. Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan Clarkson, that's another Laker. Wasn't Jordan Clarkson drafted as a Laker?
He was.
Jeez. Man. We should put that team together on paper and see what it would look like if they just kept all their draft picks from the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I can go put it in 2K. I'll just go put it in 2K and be like, this is what it was, and just screen record the whole thing, and then be like, this is what would happen if they just kept that same roster over the next 10 years.
You should build that team and then simulate a season, just see how many games they win.
Yeah. Looking at the Lauri Markkanen situation, it kind of feels very similar to the Pascal Siakam situation. If you wait till last minute in the middle of the season, you're kind of limited to who you can trade to, because Pascal is going to have to, or now in this case, Lauri is going to have to agree, be like, yes, I'm going to sign there. No, I'm not going to. And if you say no, they're not going to trade for him all of a sudden. And so now you're limited to what he wants very specifically, instead of having a wide range of options. So being moved sooner than later, every single day, the value is going to go down and down and down for Lauri, just because the options are going to get more and more limited as time goes on.
And if I'm taking Golden State out of this, although Golden State trading for Anderson, I think, takes them out of the Lauri, just money wise. If I'm the Kings, or if I'm another smaller market team that's trying to add him, I want a full year to show him this is what Orlando has to offer. This is what Sacramento has to offer. This is our fan base. This is what we can show you. You want to know who had zero interest in staying here? Chris Webber. He became one of the most famous Sacramento Kings of all time because the city changed his mind. Domantas Sabonis. We traded for him with no guarantee he would sign an extension, and he fell in love with the city. You know, it's just one of those things where you want a full year to show a player. Trading for Lauri at the deadline, that gives you 2 months, and it's the playoff race. It's not like he's going out to Tower Cafe and hanging out. Like, you're in the middle of the freaking, that's going to be funny. No one's even know what the hell that means. But, you want a player like Lauri, you want a full year with him to see, because this is max extension player. Probably this is $200 million that this player is going to want. So you want a full year to see how he fits in with your team, and how he fits in with the culture of your team, and if he's going to want to stay. Trading for him at the deadline is not doesn't do much. I think. I mean, the Jazz would get absolutely nothing at that point.
Yep.